A very good morning, all of you. Welcome to refrigeration and air conditioning class. In last class, we discussed about types of refrigeration systems, closed and open, and we also learned what are the advantages and disadvantages of open system and closed system. In this class, we move to aircraft refrigeration systems. Before going to discuss about types of aircraft refrigeration system, first of all we need to uh, know what is the need of refrigeration in aircrafts. Generally, when we go high altitudes where atmospheric temperature is very less, if you have less temperature, so generally no need of refrigeration. But even though temperature is less inside the inside the cabin of aircrafts, we have to maintain refrigeration system. Why? What is the need to maintain that refrigeration system? So first of all we will know that one, then we'll move into types of refrigeration systems which are used in aircrafts. So when we move high altitudes, even temperatures are less, still we need to maintain refrigeration inside the cabin. So we see the reasons. What are they? The same point I mentioned here. In an aircraft, cooling systems are required to keep the cabin temperature at a comfortable level. Even though the outside temperatures are outer temperatures are very low at high altitudes, still cooling of cabin is required due to some reasons. What are they? First one is that, see all of you, large internal heat generation, large amount of heat generation which takes place inside the aircraft, because inside the cabin we have so many occupants, so much amount of equipment. These occupants and equipment generate some amount of heat. So due to that, the cabin temperature rises. So to maintain that cabin temperature at comfortable level, we need to maintain refrigeration system. That is one reason. And second one is that skin friction. So what is skin friction? When aircraft moves at high altitudes, see all of you, aircraft always travels with high velocity. So when aircraft moves with high velocity, that outside air which is passing over the aircraft surface will be going to contact with that aircraft surface. That outside air is going to contact with aircraft surface. So due to this contact at high velocity, friction develops. This friction is called as skin friction. So due to this skin friction, some amount of heat will be generated. That heat will be passing to that cabin. So automatically cabin temperature rises. So you need to maintain refrigeration for that one. So that is also one of the reasons for maintaining refrigeration system. And second one is, and third one is that ram effect. So ram effect means, see all of you, um, I have written in detailed way, but the total meaning is ram effect. The third one is ram effect. Generally when we move high altitudes, the surrounding is always this subatmospheric means the pressure value what we have at high altitudes, which is always atmospheric pressure at ground level. Very low pressure we see at high altitudes. So at this low pressure, already temperature, based on that pressure, temperature also we see very low. So already we learnt in thermal engineering too, in the chapter of gas turbines and jet propulsion, atmospheric air always enters into aircraft through a diffuser. Through a diffuser. Already turbojet you learned, in the topic of turbojet you learned this one. Atmospheric air always enters into turbojet through a diffuser. Diffuser is a device, sorry, it is a passage in which pressure value increasing by um, by reducing kinetic energy. When energy decreases, that energy is going to be converted into pressure energy. So pressure value increases. When pressure increases through this passage, automatically velocity value decreases. So outside pressure which is very low, this outside pressure is entering into turbojet through a diffuser. So due to this moving of air through diffuser, uh, the pressure increases. Along with pressure, temperature automatically increases. This temperature again moves to compressor. one more time pressure rise takes place. So due to this high pressure, so when air passes through a diffuser, temperature rises along with pressure. When I supply this air directly to the cabin, that human being will not feel comfort, because along with pressure, temperature rises. The temperature what we have obtained due to this compression process in diffuser, which is very high, which is not comfortable for human being. If I directly supply to the cabin, human being feels uncomfortable. That's why you have to maintain proper refrigeration system for that. So this effect is this principle or effect is called as ram effect or ram process. When air passes through a diffuser, the pressure increases. Along with pressure, temperature automatically increases. This is not good for human being to maintain in comfortable range. Same thing I maintained in a point here. See, all of you read it. Third point: at high altitudes, the outside pressure will be always subatmospheric. Subatmospheric means which is less than atmospheric pressure at ground level. When air at this low pressure is compressed and supplied to cabin at pressures close to atmospheric. So this is subatmospheric air which is available outside. If you want to send this air to the cabin, you always have to maintain atmospheric pressure, because human being feels comfort at atmospheric pressure 1 bar. So let's suppose assume 0.2 bar, which is at outside. If I supply directly to cabin 0.2 bar, human being does not feel comfort. Human being feels comfort only at 1 bar. So you have to increase the pressure. This is done by a diffuser. So when air passes through a diffuser, pressure value reaches 1 bar, okay. But what about temperature? Temperature also increases. So that temperature is not comfortable. What I'm trying to say, that one temperature is not comfortable. So you have to maintain proper refrigeration. So same thing I maintained in the point, in the bullet. The temperature increases significantly along with pressure. So that is not comfortable. So same point I explained with an example. See, all of you, that example: when outside air at a pressure of 0.2 bar, outside air I am assuming 0.2 bar, and temperature, let assume value is 223 Kelvin. This is only assumption. Outside I am assuming 0.2 bar. At 0.2 bar, let assume temperature is 223 Kelvin. Height I mentioned 10,000 meter altitude or 10 kilometers height. Is compressed to 1 bar through a diffuser. When air passes through diffuser, that air compresses and reaches to 1 bar. We have reached atmospheric pressure. Now at this pressure, human being feels comfort generally. But what about temperature? Temperature also you should maintain in comfortable range. Then only human being feels comfort. Now I have maintained only pressure, but along with pressure in compression process, its temperature increases to 353 Kelvin. Based on that pressure increment, temperature also rises in too much. So it has reached 353 Kelvin. 353 means, see, all of you, this is almost 70 to 80 degrees, 80 degrees Celsius. Very too much amount of heat. So this effect is called as ram effect. This effect adds heat to the cabin, absolutely, because high temperature is entering into cabin. So some amount of heat will be added to cabin, so which needs to be taken out by cooling system. If you want to remove that heat to the surroundings, you should maintain proper cooling system inside. That is called refrigeration. And last one is solar radiation. Absolutely. So when aircraft moves at certain amount of height, due to sun radiation, some amount of heat will be added to the cabin. So these are main reasons by which heat will be added to this cabin. So to reduce that heat, if you want to remove that heat, you should maintain proper refrigeration system. So that's the need of refrigeration system. So examination case, regularly we see this question: what is the need of refrigeration system in aircrafts? So you have to explain these 4 points. Okay. Now, what are the types of refrigeration systems are available in case of aircrafts? See, all of you, I have written some types. Just note down in your notebook. Simple or basic aircraft refrigeration system or air refrigeration system, in which we have two types: without evaporative cooling, with evaporative cooling. So simple air refrigeration system without evaporative cooling, that is one. With evaporative cooling, second one. Similarly, bootstrap air refrigeration system. Here also we have two types: without evaporative cooling, with evaporative cooling. I will tell you later what is simple and bootstrap. Regenerative air refrigeration system is another one, and reduced ambient air refrigeration system is last one. So these are four types of refrigeration systems are available in case of aircrafts. But first two types, we have two different cases: without, with evaporative cooling. Now let us move to simple air refrigeration system without evaporative cooling. So we are not using evaporator. Without evaporative cooling, how can we maintain refrigeration inside the cabin? We'll see now. So this is the line diagram or schematic diagram for simple air refrigeration system. See, all of you, very simple to understand and very easy to draw this one. So actually this gas turbine is no need to prepare. Just for understanding purpose, I have mentioned this one. Without gas turbine, you can also draw this diagram. So this is aircraft jet turbo. Let us assume turbojet. Air, atmospheric air, first of all enters into turbojet. I already told you just now, in case of need, when air enters into turbojet or aircraft, first of all it compresses through a passage called diffuser. So when air compresses, pressure increases, along with pressure, temperature rises. That effect is called as ram effect. I already told you, or ram process. So initially atmospheric air at section 1 is entering into aircraft called diffuser. When air pressurizes, temperature all automatically increases. Now we have reached exit of diffuser. So my cursor is here, my cursor is at 2. See, all of you, I am at 2. So when pressurization takes place, we reach to 2. So we reach to where pressure value increases due to diffuser. Now this pressurized air enters compressor. Now one more time pressure increment takes place, pressure rises takes place. So one more time, two times I have increased pressure. One is through diffuser and second one is compressor. So with high pressure, the air is moved to heat exchanger. See, all of you. So first of all, atmospheric air enters diffuser where ram effect takes place. After ram effect, the pressurized air enters compressor. One more time pressure rise takes place. So due to this high pressurization, that air is moved to heat exchanger. What is happening here? What happens in heat exchanger? See, all of you, heat exchanger here, heat is going to be exchanged from high temperature region to low temperature region. See, all of you, high temperature is passing through tube which is coming from compressor. Over the tube, what we have? Some amount of ram air is passing over this tube, ram air. So ram air is divided into two parts. Some amount of air is going to main compressor, some amount is going over heat exchanger tube. So this is at low temperature, because compared to high pressurization after compressor, this temperature is very low, because after pressurization, when air crosses main compressor, too much pressure rise takes place, or along with pressure, temperature also will see too much. So high pressure air and high temperature air will see inside the tube of heat exchanger. Over the tube, we have only ram air. Ram air means little bit amount of temperature after compression we'll see. So here heat exchange takes place, heat rejection takes place. So from compressed air to ram air, this is compressed air. From compressed air to ram air, heat rejection takes place. So when heat is rejected, so this heat exchanger will be acting as cooler. So in refrigerator, we have four parts. What are they? First one, compressor. Second one, cooler. Third one, expander. Fourth one, evaporator. Sorry, refrigerator or evaporator. Same thing here. First one, compressor. So here compressor means two. One is diffuser. Second one is compressor. Second one is cooler or heat exchanger. Third one, after heat rejection from cooler, that cool air will move to turbine. So we are seeing turbine here. So what happens in turbine? Expansion process takes place. Due to that expansion, pressure drops, temperature drops. So with low pressure, low temperature, pressure means here we reach cabin pressure, because that air is directly connected to cabin. Turbine is directly connected to cabin. We are reaching cabin pressure. So with cabin pressure and low temperature, very low temperature because of expansion process. So with low temperature, that air is moved to cabin. So inside the cabin we have some occupants, equipment. So due to that cool air, occupants and equipment will be at comfortable zone, comfortable temperature region. So when air reaches cabin, some amount of heat will be added from occupants and equipments. After that, that air again will be recirculated to system, or you can discharge it to surroundings. So that is the procedure what we have in without evaporative cooling system. So I hope you understood well. So only 4 things here. Process wise, I'll tell you what are the processes involved in the diagram. First one is atmospheric air enters diffuser, where pressurization takes place. This pressurization process is called as ramming process. So 1 2 is called as ramming, 2 3 is compression in compressor, 3 4 is heat rejection in cooler, 4 5 is expansion in turbine, 5 6 is heat addition from occupants and equipment to the air. Air will be absorbing some amount of heat when it reaches cabin from occupants and equipment. So 5 6 is called as heat addition from occupants or absorbent, sorry, equipment. So these are process 1 2 2 3 3 4 4 5 5 6. Now we'll see diagram, TS diagram or process diagram. I explain processes. 1 2 is, if you go theoretically, compression always should follow isentropic process, but practically it deviates to adiabatic. So 1 2 is isentropic compression in diffuser, 1 2 dash is practical adiabatic process. But one thing, if you observe carefully what is happening in practical case, see all of you carefully, in adiabatic process again you should reach 2 bar pressure, ideal pressure. But see all of you, I prepared 2 dash, some pressure is somewhat decreases compared to theoretical or isentropic pressure at after isentropic compression, the pressure value is decreased in actual process. I did not reach ideal pressure. Why? Because when air passes through a diffuser, pressure drop takes place due to frictional effects. When air passes through it, frictional effects take place. So due to that friction, pressure drops. But what about temperature? When friction develops, temperature rises. But if you observe carefully, 2 things are happening here. One is pressure is decreasing from 2 to 2 dash. Pressure decreases, generally temperature also has to be decreased. But inside the diffuser, due to frictional effects, temperature is increasing. So temperature theoretically has to be decreased, but due to friction, temperature is increasing. That's why compared to theoretical, in actual case we are reaching same temperature. Temperature wise I did not get any change. In case of theoretical and practical, same temperature we are having due to that frictional effects, but pressure value decreases here. That's why 2 is equal to 2 dash in temperature wise, but pressure wise P2 is different, P2 dash is different because of friction. So same thing I maintained here, 2 dash on same line. So next, from 2 dash next process starts. Now I have reached 2 dash actual point. 2 dash to 3 means compression in main compressor. Theoretically it should be followed isentropic, practically adiabatic. 2 dash to 3, so 2 dash to 3 dash is adiabatic, 2 dash to 3 is isentropic. Next, after isentropic compression, we go to this air cooler, heat exchanger, where heat is rejected from high compressed air to ram air. So due to the heat rejection, temperature drops, but pressure value did not change because this is heat exchanger. we follow constant pressure heat rejection. So on the same pressure line, see all of you, 3 to 4 on same pressure line, temperature is decreased from 3 dash to 4 in actual case. Theoretical means 3 to 4. Finally, I have reached 4 after cooler. Now we are ready to move for expansion in turbine. So when expansion takes place, theoretically it should be followed isentropic 4 to 5 isentropic expansion, but practically adiabatic expansion 4 to 5 dash. Finally, we reach cabin pressure. Cabin pressure. So with cabin pressure, air is moved to cabin. When it reaches cabin, some amount of heat will be added from occupants or equipment in the cabin. So when heat is added, temperature value rises. So from 5 dash to 6, see all of you, 5 dash to 6, which is on same pressure line, cabin pressure, but temperature value rises due to occupants or equipment from which heat is added to air. So 5 dash to 6, temperature value increases. So this is TS diagram. If you observe, there are different points. 1, 2, 2 dash, 2 means theoretical, 2 dash is actual. But temperature wise, these two are same. This temperature is called as stagnation temperature. That pressure is called as stagnation pressure. So this is by Ram effect, Ram process. 1, 2 is Ram process. 2 to 3 is isentropic compression in compressor. 3 to 4 is constant pressure heat rejection. 4 to 5 isentropic expansion theoretical, adiabatic expansion 4 to 5 dash actual. 5 to 6 constant pressure heat addition in cabin. So this is total TS diagram. So when you get problem on this, we need to calculate all temperatures. You should know each and every temperature, then only we can solve the problem. Using processes, easily we can solve these unknown values by using isentropic and efficiencies. How can we decide that problem belongs to ideal or actual? In case of ideal, no efficiencies values will be given. Here, efficiencies will be required for two devices. They are compressor and turbine. If I have efficiencies in the problem, that means that problem belongs to actual. If I am not having efficiencies in the problem, that problem belongs to ideal, because efficiencies you should consider as 100%. See all of you, please take care of this one. And Ram efficiency also we can calculate. So after compression of diffuser, pressure value decreases due to frictional effects. P2 is theoretical pressure, P2 dash is actual pressure. So by using these pressure limits, unknown pressure value can be determined. In some situations, you will be getting objective like that. Determine actual Ram pressure or ideal Ram pressure. So Ram efficiency will be given. Based on that, you will be calculating unknown value. So I will discuss in case of thermodynamic evaluation. Then we'll move to thermodynamic analysis of this cycle. First of all, I start with 1-2 process, Ram process. See all of you, Ram process. This is diffuser. Before entering into aircraft, the first portion is diffuser portion. Section 1, 2. Atmospheric air with high velocity. That velocity is assumed as V. Is entering into diffuser. Is entering into diffuser. So section 1. 2 is after diffuser. Pressurization takes place. Pressure value increases. T2, P2 are temperature pressure values. T1, P1 are temperature pressure values at inlet. So after compression, that air which is available after diffuser is called as ram air. This process is called as ramming process. See all of you. Now, how can we derive thermodynamic analysis for this process? Let us assume V is velocity which is entering into air. This velocity is also called as flight velocity. Air entering into aircraft, and is also called as aircraft velocity V, which is very, very high. And so the kinetic energy at entrance point at section 1 is, generally kinetic energy means in joule per second, half mv square, general equation, half mv square. M means mass, v velocity. So when that is in joule per second. If I want to write in kilojoules per second, half mv square by 1000. So mv square by 2000 finally. That is in kilojoules per second. If I want to write in kilojoules per kg of mass, per kg of air, m value you should take as 1. So v square by 2000, simple. So same thing I write here. Kinetic energy at inlet in joule per kg case in means per unit of mass case V square by 2000 kilojoules per kg. So when air passes through a diffuser from beginning to end, pressure value increases but velocity decreases. So when it reaches section 2 after compression, velocity value almost you can neglect compared to inlet velocity. So change in kinetic energy is called as drop in rise in enthalpy. Enthalpy value rises due to pressurization. So the rise in enthalpy gives change in velocity. So exit velocity you can neglect. Inlet velocity is v square by 2000. A change in enthalpy, change in energy level, rise in energy level is h2 minus h1. H2 is high amount of energy after compression. H1 is low amount amount of inlet energy at entrance portion. H2 minus H1 is equal to V square by 2000. H2 means CpT2. We learned in thermodynamics, small h2 specific enthalpy is CpT. CpT2 minus CpT1 is equal to V square by 2000. Cp I can take out, and if I move on the other side, finally equation becomes T2 by T1 is equal to 1 plus V square by 2000 CpT1. But I already told you in the beginning of TS diagram, T2 is equal to T2 dash due to frictional effects. So T2 dash you can write instead of T2, T2 dash by T1 is equal to 1 plus V square by 2000 Cp T1. Cp is specific heat of air, T1 is entrance temperature, V is flight velocity, aircraft velocity which is entering into system. So T2 dash is stagnation temperature at the exit of compression. We know that Cp is equal to gamma r by gamma minus 1. In thermodynamics, we learned this. Cp is equal to gamma r by gamma minus 1. I am going to substitute this value in above equation, then we'll see what happens. Instead of Cp, I wrote gamma r by gamma minus 1. Then finally, the equation T2 by T1 is equal to 1 plus V square gamma minus 1 by 2 gamma 1000 r T1. 1000 or T1. See all of you, where R is in kilojoules per kg Kelvin, which is characteristic gas constant of air. Generally, we take 0.287 kilojoules per kg Kelvin. If you want to write in joule per kg Kelvin, 287 for air. So from which we can derive that T2 by T1 is, or T2 dash by T1 is equal to 1 plus V square gamma minus 1 by 2 gamma R T1. See carefully, 2 gamma or T1, where gamma or T1 under root gamma or T1 means sound velocity. So sound velocity is assumed as A. So under root gamma or T1, but in numerator, denominator I have gamma or T1. So instead of gamma or T1, I wrote A square. A means under root gamma or T1, which is also called as sound velocity or acoustic velocity. So here, if you observe carefully, V is flight velocity or aircraft velocity, A is sound velocity. The ratio of object or fluid velocity divided by sound velocity is called as Mach number. You learnt in thermal engineering 2 in the topic of gas turbines and jet propulsions. Object velocity divided by sound velocity gives Mach number, capital M, which is indicated by capital M. So 1 plus gamma minus 1 by 2 into M square. So T2 by T1 final equation is 1 plus gamma minus 1 by 2 into M square. So this is very important for examination point of view. When Mach number is given in problem, easily we can identify the unknown temperature value or stagnation temperature value when inlet temperature is given. When we have gamma or T1 values, directly using above relations, we can determine unknown values. So depends on the data, we move into the solution. So this is ramming process, where M is Mach number I mentioned here, which is as the ratio of aircraft velocity to the local sound velocity. Sound velocity changes based on atmospheric temperatures. When temperature value increases, sound velocity automatically increases. under because of the equation under root gamma RT1. So here I'm going to continue the ramming process here. T2 is equal to T2 dash, which is also called as stagnation temperature. Just now I told you the stagnation pressure. If you want to determine stagnation pressure, P2 by P1 isentropic process, theoretical process, P2 by P1 is equal to T2 by T1 power gamma by gamma minus 1. Sorry, I think gamma minus 1 by gamma for process. Sorry, gamma by gamma minus 1. Correct. P2 by P1 is equal to T2 by T1 power gamma by gamma minus 1. In some situations, in some problems, you will have sometimes you need to determine actual temperatures after compression process. If you want to determine not temperature, pressure values. If you want to determine pressure value under actual conditions, you should know ram efficiency. So ram efficiency is mentioned for ram process. Ram efficiency is equal to actual pressure rise in the diffuser divided by isentropic rise. Actual pressure rise means P2 dash minus P1. Isentropic or theoretical pressure rise is P2 minus P1. If I am having any unknown value, by using this equation we can determine that. Sometimes pressure values you will be getting. In such a case, you will determine you can determine ram efficiency. If I'm having ram efficiency, I can determine unknown value of pressure. So this equation is very useful in such situations. Next process is isentropic or compression process. Sorry, CPM, not CPM. This is compression. Typing error. Process 2-3 is compression process. When we go for a theoretical process, that is isentropic. When we go for actual, adiabatic. So for actual case, I have written equation. Compressor work WC is equal to mCp delta T. Ma, mass of air, Cp, specific heat of air at constant pressure. Actual process means T3 dash minus T2 dash. T2 dash temperature at the exit of diffuser. T3 dash is temperature at the exit of compressor under actual conditions. Ma is mass flow rate of air which is coming from diffuser. So 3-4 is cooling process where heat is rejected. So the value of heat rejection QR is equal to mCp delta T, Ma, Cp. The temperature differences in the heat exchangers are T3 dash minus T4. So after heat exchanger, the temperature value decreases. That's why inlet value minus exit value, T3 dash minus T4. Next one is expansion process. What happens in expansion? Expansion means turbine where pressure drops, automatically temperature drops. So turbine work is developed by the turbine here. So turbine work WT is equal to mCp delta T, Ma, Cp, T4 minus T5 dash. T4 is inlet value of turbine, T5 dash is actual temperature at the exit of turbine. Last one is process 5-6 refrigeration process where heat is added to air from occupants or equipment. So when heat is added, so heat addition QL or refrigerating effect is equal to mCp delta T, Ma, Cp. T6 means temperature of cabin, T5 dash is temperature at the exit of turbine. So heat will, when heat is added, temperature value rises. So exit minus inlet of cabin. Cabin exit is T6, cabin inlet is T5 dash. So that is thing. So these are thermodynamic analysis equations what we have under various processes. Then we'll go for COP of the system. COP means it's the ratio of refrigerating effect to the network input required or work done. So refrigerating effect means QL mCp delta T, mCp T6 minus T5 dash. Network means MACP T3 minus T2 dash. That means compressor work. So MACP will be cancelled. T6 minus T5 dash by T3 minus T2 dash. This is COP of system. So this is simple aircraft refrigeration system without evaporative cooling. Next class, we'll discuss a problem on this one. You will be having a clear idea how to solve a problem on simple air refrigeration system. Thank you all of you.